I stared at my phone screen, reading the 5 words over and over. The mortgage is due tomorrow. No hi, Eliza. No hope you're doing well. Just a demand disguised as a statement, sent at 9:30 on a Tuesday night like I was some kind of ATM with a pulse. My mother's name glowed at the top of the message, and for the first time in my 32 years, I felt absolutely nothing when I saw it. No guilt. No panic. No rush to fix whatever problem she'd just dropped in my lap. Just silence. The kind that comes right before you realize you've been screaming into the void for way too long. I set my phone face down on my kitchen counter and went back to stirring my tea. Let it sit. Let her wait. Because 1 month ago, I'd found a document that shattered every illusion I'd built about my place in this family. And tonight, that document was about to pay dividends. Let me take you back so you understand how we got here. I grew up in a suburb outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, in a modest 3-bedroom house with parents who believed in the traditional values, which, in their case, meant my older brother Daniel was destined for greatness while I was destined to help him get there. Daniel was the golden child. Captain of the high school football team. Homecoming king. Got into Chapel Hill on a partial scholarship that my parents bragged about at every barbecue, every church service, every family gathering. Never mind that I graduated valedictorian 2 years later. Never mind that I got a full ride to NC State for engineering. When Daniel walked into a room, the sun rose. When I walked in, someone handed me a dish towel and pointed at the sink. If this hits home, tell me where you're watching from. Drop a comment if you know what it's like to be invisible in your own family. I learned early that love in our house was conditional. It was measured in how useful you were, how much you sacrificed, how quietly you disappeared when the golden child needed the spotlight. So I became useful. I sent money home during college when Dad's contracting business hit a rough patch. I co-signed Daniel's first car loan when his credit was garbage. I paid for Mom's dental work when their insurance wouldn't cover it. I showed up. I helped. I fixed. And Daniel? Daniel floated through life like gravity was optional. He burned through 3 jobs in 5 years, moved back home twice, got engaged to a woman who left him at the altar, and somehow, none of it stuck to him. Our parents just smiled and said he was finding himself. When I suggested maybe he needed to grow up, my mother said I was being cruel. It happened on a Saturday afternoon last October. I'd driven up from Raleigh to help my parents sort through old files in their garage. Dad wanted to organize his business records, Mom wanted to finally get that space cleared out. I was the one who showed up. Daniel was in Myrtle Beach with friends. I was elbow deep in a box of tax returns when I found it. A manila folder, crisp and new, labeled estate planning, final copy. My hands moved before my brain could stop them. I pulled out the document. Last will and testament. Dated 3 months earlier. My eyes scanned the pages. The house, Daniel. Dad's truck and tools, Daniel. The savings account, the small investment portfolio, Mom's jewelry, Daniel, Daniel, Daniel. My name appeared exactly once, in a single line near the end, to Eliza Marie Harrington. We leave our gratitude for her continued support of this family. Gratitude. 20 years of writing checks, covering emergencies, playing backup parent, and I got a sentence. Not even a token piece of jewelry. Not a single photograph or memento. Just gratitude. I sat on that concrete garage floor for 10 minutes, staring at nothing. My mother called from inside, asking if I wanted lemonade. I heard my own voice answer yes, bright and normal, while something inside me went completely silent. I took a photo of every page with my phone. Then I put the folder back exactly where I'd found it. I didn't say a word. I drank the lemonade. I finished organizing the files. I drove home. And I started planning. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. I started reviewing my bank statements, going back 5 years. $15,000 to help with the new roof. $8,000 when Dad's truck needed a transmission. $6,200 for Mom's medical bills. $4,000 co-signing that loan Daniel defaulted on. I'd paid it off myself to protect my credit. $1,200 here, $800 there, $3,000 for the big family vacation to Gatlinburg that I couldn't even attend because of work. Rough math? North of $50,000. $50,000 I'd given freely, believing I was investing in our family. Believing that love was something you earned by showing up, by being dependable, by sacrificing. But the will told a different story. The will said I was the workhorse. Daniel was the heir. And my parents had decided that years ago, probably before I even realized I was in a race I'd already lost. Tap that like button if you've ever given everything and gotten nothing back. You're not alone. I didn't call them. I didn't confront them. I did something much quieter. I opened a new savings account and named it Eliza First. Every dollar I would have sent home went there instead. Every emergency call I would have answered, I let go to voicemail. Every crisis I would have solved, I let them solve it themselves. The first week was the hardest. Dad called saying the lawnmower was broken. Could I send $200 for a new one? I texted back, check with Daniel. Mom called asking if I could drive up to help her sort through her closet. Can't this weekend. Busy. Daniel himself called, asking if I could lend him $1,500 for first month's rent on a new apartment. I laughed. Actually laughed. And said, no. The silence from their end was deafening. But I held firm. Then came the text. 4 weeks into my quiet revolution. 9:30 at night. 5 words. The mortgage is due tomorrow. I read it 3 times. No context. No please. No acknowledgement that she was asking me to cover a bill that, according to public records I'd checked, was nearly $3,000. Just an expectation that I'd handle it, the way I always had. I thought about all the ways I could respond. I could be cruel. I could be detailed, listing every dollar, every slight, every moment I'd been erased. I could be dramatic, sending screenshots of the will. But you know what's more powerful than anger? Simplicity. I typed 7 words, that's not my responsibility anymore. Good luck. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Then I turned off my phone and went to bed. My phone exploded the next morning. 17 missed calls. 12 texts. 3 voicemails. Mom, how could you do this to us? Dad, we raised you better than this. Daniel, what's your problem? They need help. I read every single message with my coffee. Each one more frantic than the last. Each one blaming me for having boundaries. Not one of them acknowledged the will. Not one of them asked why I'd stopped. They just wanted their ATM back online. I responded to Daniel first. Sent him a single screenshot. Page 4 of the will. The part where he inherited everything. Followed by, congratulations. It's all yours. Including the bills. He called immediately. I declined. He texted, "We need to talk." I replied, "No, we don't." Comment below if you've ever had to teach your family what boundaries look like. This community gets it. Then I called my mother. She answered on the first ring, voice high and tight. "Eliza, thank God. We need." "I saw the will," I said. Calm. Even. No emotion. Silence. Long and heavy. "Mom, I saw the will. From October. The one where Daniel gets everything and I get a thank you note." "Eliza." She was scrambling. I could hear it. "That's not. We were going to talk to you about." "When? After the funerals? After I'd already spent another 20 years funding your lives?" My voice stayed level. That's the thing about real anger. It doesn't need volume. I've given you over $50,000 in 5 years. I've co-signed loans. I've covered emergencies. I've shown up. And you left me gratitude. "You make good money," she said, and there it was. The truth underneath everything. Daniel struggles. We wanted to make sure he was taken care of. By me? I cut her off. You wanted him taken care of by me. While I was alive. And buy your estate when you're gone. I'm the insurance policy. He's the beneficiary. I get it now. That's not fair. What's not fair, I said, is treating your daughter like a bank for 32 years and thinking she won't notice. The mortgage is your problem now. Daniel's problem. Good luck. I hung up. What happened next was almost predictable. My father showed up at my apartment in Raleigh 2 days later. Unannounced. Knocked on my door at 7 in the morning like he owned the place. I answered in my bathrobe, coffee in hand. "We need to talk," he said. No greeting. Just like my mother's text. I leaned against the doorframe. "No, we don't. Eliza, you're being unreasonable. Your mother is beside herself." "Dad, were you going to tell me?" I asked. "About the will? Ever? Or were you just going to let me find out after you died, standing in a lawyer's office while Daniel got the keys to everything?" He had the decency to look uncomfortable. "We thought. You're successful. You don't need." Need? This isn't about need. This is about being erased. You turned me into a resource instead of a daughter. I kept my voice quiet. Neighbors didn't need a show. I'm done being used. Using? We're your parents. Then act like it. I stepped back. I'm not doing this on my doorstep. You want a relationship with me? It starts with an apology and a conversation about that will. Until then, handle your own bills. You left everything to Daniel. He can have everything. Including the responsibility. I closed the door. My hands shook for 20 minutes afterward, but I didn't open it again. If this story is hitting different, hit that subscribe button. There's more where this came from, and you won't want to miss what happens next. Here's what I learned: when you've been the family fixer for decades, removing yourself creates a vacuum. And nature abhors a vacuum. Within 2 weeks, the cracks started showing. Mom called Daniel, expecting him to cover the mortgage. Daniel didn't have it. Daniel never had it. He called my parents back, angry, saying it wasn't his problem yet, the will wasn't even active. They called me. I didn't answer. They tried taking out a second loan. Got denied. Credit maxed from years of living just slightly beyond their means, always knowing I'd catch them when they fell. Dad picked up extra contracting jobs, but at 68, his knees weren't what they used to be. Mom started working part-time at a boutique. Something she'd always said was beneath her. Daniel, in a shocking display of character, told them he couldn't help. Didn't have the money. Didn't have the stability. And wasn't going to destroy his credit the way I'd protected mine. For the first time in his life, he set a boundary with our parents. I almost respected him for it. Almost. My auntie Dad's sister called me in early December. "Eliza, what's going on? Your mother called me crying, saying you'd abandoned them. Did she tell you about the will?" I asked. Silence. Then, what will? I told her. Everything. She listened. When I finished, she was quiet for a long time. "I'm sorry," she finally said. I knew they favored Daniel, but I didn't know they'd. God, Eliza. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. Are you okay? That question. The first time anyone had asked. I felt something crack in my chest. "Yeah," I said. "I think I'm going to be." Christmas was approaching. Traditionally, I hosted. Big dinner, presents for everyone, the works. I'd done it for 6 years straight, covering the food, the decorations, everything. This year, I sent a group text the first week of December. "Won't be hosting Christmas this year. Hope you all have a great holiday." My mother called immediately. "What do you mean you're not hosting?" Exactly what I said. "But where will we go?" "We always come to you." "Mom, you'll figure it out." "I have plans." "Plans?" Her voice went shrill. "What plans?" "My plans. For my life. Which doesn't revolve around fixing things for people who wrote me out of their will." "Eliza Marie, you are being selfish and spiteful?" "No," I said, and my voice was ice. "Selfish was leaving everything to Daniel while expecting me to fund your lifestyle. Spiteful was never planning to tell me. I'm being honest. I'm being clear. And I'm being done." I hung up and blocked her number. Then Dad's. Then Daniel's. Not forever. Just until January. I needed one holiday where I wasn't the help. Leave a like if you've ever had to walk away to save yourself. And drop a comment telling me how you set your first real boundary. I spent Christmas in Asheville with friends. We hiked. We drank wine. We laughed. Nobody asked me for money. Nobody expected me to fix anything. It was the best Christmas I'd had in a decade. January came. I unblocked everyone. The first message waiting was from Daniel, sent on December 28th. "We need to talk. Face to face. Please." I didn't respond immediately. I let it sit for 3 days. Then I replied, "Okay." Neutral location. Saturday. 2 o'clock. Charlotte. We met at a coffee shop near South Park. Daniel looked tired. Older. He sat across from me, hands wrapped around a cup he wasn't drinking. "I didn't know about the will," he said. First words out of his mouth. "Doesn't matter." "It does to me." He met my eyes. "I told them to change it." That surprised me. "What?" "I told them to split everything 50-50. or give you the house and me the cash. Something fair. I told them what they did was wrong. And Dad said the will stands. That they made their decision based on need, not merit. That you'd be fine either way. Daniel rubbed his face. I'm not taking it, Eliza. When the time comes, I'm not taking everything. We'll split it. I'll put it in writing. I studied him. Looking for the lie. The angle. Why? I asked. Because you're right. They used you. And I let them. I let them pay for my mistakes with your money and your time. I never said thank you. I never told them to stop. I just took. He looked genuinely ashamed. I'm sorry. It wasn't enough. It couldn't undo 20 years. But it was something. Actions, Daniel. Not words. You want me to believe you? Start showing up. Start handling things. Be the son they think you are. He nodded. I will. February brought the reckoning. My parents called a family meeting. Requested I attend. Said they wanted to resolve things. I almost said no. But I was curious. And I had things to say. We met at their house. The same house that would someday be Daniel's. I sat in the living room, across from my parents, Daniel beside me for once instead of across from me. Dad started. Eliza, we owe you an apology. Okay. He looked thrown by my calm. We didn't handle the will correctly. We should have discussed it with you. You should have treated me like family, I corrected. Not an ATM with a guilt button. Mom flinched. That's not. We love you. Do you? I asked. Simple question. She couldn't answer. The silence stretched. Here's what's going to happen, I said. I'm not asking you to change the will. Leave it. Give Daniel everything. But understand, our relationship is different now. I'm not your fallback plan. I'm not your emergency fund. You want a relationship with me, it's built on respect, not utility. I'll visit. I'll call. But I won't bankroll your lives anymore. That's punishing us for, Dad started. No. That's having boundaries. Something I should have had decades ago. Hit subscribe if this story resonates. Because standing up for yourself isn't easy, but it's worth it. They agreed. Reluctantly. Resentfully. But they agreed. What choice did they have? Daniel stepped up. Started mowing their lawn. Helping with repairs. He got a stable job, finally, and started sending them $100 a month. Small, but consistent. The mortgage got caught up. They refinanced, downsized their lifestyle. Stopped eating out 4 times a week. Cancelled subscriptions. Did what people do when they have to live within their means. And me? I thrived. That Eliza First account grew. I took a trip to Colorado. Started therapy. Processed 32 years of being invisible. My therapist said something that stuck: you can't make people value you. You can only stop accepting being devalued. So I did. My parents and I talk now. Cautiously. Surface level. They ask about my job, my life. They don't ask for money. Once, my mother almost did, caught herself mid-sentence, apologized. It was progress. Daniel and I are rebuilding something. It's not what siblings should have. But it's honest. He calls every few weeks. Asks how I'm doing. Actually listens. Last month, he sent me a check for $500 with a note, first of many. Paying you back. I cried when I got it. Not because of the money. Because someone finally saw me. Here's what I learned from all of this. Family isn't supposed to cost you your self-respect. Love isn't supposed to be conditional on how useful you are. And walking away from people who treat you like a resource instead of a person isn't cruelty, it's survival. I don't regret helping my parents for all those years. I regret not demanding they see me while I did it. I regret accepting crumbs and calling it love. I regret being so afraid of conflict that I set myself on fire to keep them warm. But I don't regret that text. Those 7 words. That's not my responsibility anymore. Good luck. Because that's when I stopped being the family ghost and started being Eliza. The woman who knows her worth. The woman who doesn't apologize for having boundaries. The woman who learned that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let people face the consequences they created. My parents don't understand it yet. Maybe they never will. But I'm not waiting for their approval anymore. I'm not earning my place. I'm just existing as someone who deserves respect without having to bleed for it. If this story meant something to you, leave a comment sharing your experience. This community is full of people who understand, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. It's been almost a year since I sent that text. My Eliza First account has $23,000 in it now. I'm planning a trip to Ireland in the fall. I started dating someone who thinks I'm remarkable just for existing, not for what I can fix or provide. My apartment feels like mine in a way it never did when it was just the place I recovered between family crises. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd never found that will. If I'd kept playing the role they'd written for me. I think I know. I'd be 50, 60, 70, still writing checks, still showing up, still invisible. Still waiting to be seen. That will was the cruelest gift they ever gave me. But it was a gift. It showed me the truth. And the truth, as painful as it was, set me free. If you're reading this, or listening to this, and you see yourself in my story, hear me. You are not obligated to set yourself on fire to keep anyone warm. You are not required to earn love through utility. You are not selfish for having boundaries. You are not cruel for walking away from people who only value what you can give them. You are enough. Just as you are. Without the checks. Without the sacrifices. Without shrinking yourself to make space for people who refuse to see you. I'm Eliza. I was the daughter who got thanked in a will while my brother got everything else. And the best thing I ever did was stop helping them keep their house, and start building my own life instead. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated, please like this video, subscribe for more real stories like this one, and drop a comment below. Where are you watching from? Have you ever had to walk away to find yourself? Tell me. This community is here for you. Remember, you teach people how to treat you. Make sure the lesson is one you can live with.